He didn't know the man, didn't owe him anything. Yet in the middle of a violent storm, a poor black boy made a choice that most people walked past. Soaked shoes, shaking hands, a stranger barely able to stand. By morning, the neighborhood woke up to black SUVs, tinted windows, and men in suits knocking on his door. No arrest warrant, no explanation. Just one question: why were powerful people suddenly looking for a kid no one ever noticed? And what really happened during that walk through the storm? Comment and tell us where you're watching from. We love seeing how far these stories travel. And subscribe for more powerful stories. Justin Carter was 14 years old, but his life carried the weight of someone twice his age. He lived with his grandmother, Loretta, in a small, aging apartment where the walls held more cracks than paint, and the ceiling leaked whenever the rain came down hard. The elevator had been broken longer than anyone could remember, so every day meant 3 flights of stairs, up and down, no matter how tired you were. Justin's father, Jamal, had died in a construction accident years earlier. His mother, Angela, drifted in and out of his life, lost to problems bigger than either of them could fix. That left Justin and Loretta figuring things out on their own. Loretta worked long shifts at a hospital laundry, her hands swollen with arthritis, her walk slower each year. Justin made sure she took her pills, counted every dollar, and learned early how to stretch almost nothing into survival. At school, Justin was invisible. Teachers knew his name, classmates barely did. He sat in the back, kept his head down, and did his work without drawing attention. After school, he worked at a corner store for cash under the table, sweeping floors, stocking shelves, and eating whatever expired food the owner let him take home. It wasn't much, but it helped. Every night, no matter how tired he was, Justin walked to the bus stop to meet his grandmother and walk her home. Not because she asked, but because he knew she needed him. That was his routine. Quiet, predictable, heavy. What people didn't see was what Justin carried inside: the constant math. Rent, medicine, food, shoes, the fear of one bad month ending everything. He dreamed of building things, bridges, structures that connected people, but dreams felt dangerous when reality was this fragile. That Thursday evening was supposed to be no different. A storm was coming, the kind everyone complained about but ignored. Justin just wanted to get home, dry off, and sit at the table with his grandmother like always. He had no idea that before the night was over, a single decision would pull him into a world that wasn't built for kids like him, and expose how quickly kindness, race, and power collide in America. The rain didn't start gently. It slammed down without warning, turning the streets into mirrors of broken light and rushing water. Wind cut through Justin Carter's thin jacket as he stepped out of the corner store, already soaked within seconds. Thunder cracked so loud it shook his chest. The city alerts had warned people to stay inside, but Justin didn't have that luxury. His grandmother was waiting. She always was. He kept his head down and moved fast, shoes filling with water at every step. 2 blocks from home, lightning split the sky, and in that brief flash, Justin saw him. An elderly white man stood outside a medical building, drenched, shaking, one hand gripping a lamppost as if it were the only thing keeping him upright. Cars sped past, spraying water. Cabs slowed, then kept moving. No one stopped. The man tried to wave, then staggered, nearly falling. Justin slowed. His mind argued with itself. He's not your responsibility. You're already late. You're just a kid. Then the man stumbled again, clutching his chest. A black luxury sedan idled nearby. A driver in a suit stepped out with an umbrella, calling out to the man. The old man waved him off angrily, refusing help, insisting on walking. The driver hesitated, confused, then stepped back. Justin didn't understand what was happening, but he understood one thing clearly. This man wasn't okay. When the man's knees buckled and he dropped to the wet sidewalk, Justin moved before fear could stop him. He knelt beside him, rain blurring his vision, heart racing. "Sir, are you all right?" The man's breathing was uneven, words slurred. He couldn't find his phone. He said he needed to get home, 12 blocks away, the wrong direction. Through the worst of the storm, Justin looked around. People were watching from cars, from under umbrellas, but no one came closer. He felt that familiar pressure, the unspoken rule he'd learned young: don't get involved, especially if you're black, especially if something goes wrong. But he thought about his father, about how one ignored warning had ended everything. He took off his jacket, useless against the rain, but warm enough to matter, and placed it over the man's shoulders. "I'll walk you home," Justin said. "Lean on me." The man tried to protest. Justin didn't listen. Step by step, they moved through the storm. The man was heavy, his weight pressing into Justin's shoulder. Rain soaked them both. Justin's legs burned, his teeth chattered, every block felt longer than the last. Behind them, the driver watched, conflicted, making a call Justin couldn't hear. As they entered a wealthy neighborhood, the looks changed. Streetlights were brighter. Buildings cleaner, people stared. A soaked black teenager supporting an old white man didn't look like kindness to them. It looked like suspicion. Doors closed, faces hardened. At the building with the green awning, a doorman rushed out, relief flashing across his face, then hesitation when his eyes landed on Justin. The question hung in the air without words. Who is this kid, and why is he here? Justin felt it immediately, the judgment, the assumption. The old man, William Reynolds, noticed too. He gripped Justin's arm firmly and thanked him loudly, deliberately. He insisted Justin wait, offered money. Justin refused. "I didn't help you for that," Justin said quietly. William studied him like he was trying to understand something he'd missed his whole life. Justin turned back into the rain, walking home alone, colder than before, but carrying a strange, unfamiliar feeling. Like something had shifted. By morning, that feeling would be replaced by fear. Because while Justin lay sick on the couch, wrapped in blankets, black SUVs rolled into his block. Men in suits stepped out. Neighbors whispered. Windows opened. And the knock on his door would force one terrifying question into the open. Was that night about to save his life or ruin it? The knock came sharp and heavy, cutting through the apartment like a warning shot. Loretta froze mid-step. Justin felt his chest tighten. Another knock, louder this time. Outside, engines idled. Through the thin curtains, Justin could see them. Black SUVs lined up along the curb, men in dark suits standing with purpose, eyes scanning the building. Neighbors whispered from their windows. Someone muttered the word police. Someone else said FBI. Fear moved faster than facts. Loretta grabbed Justin's shoulders, her hands trembling. Had he done something wrong? Had he been accused of something? In America, neither question needed an answer to become dangerous. When the door finally opened, the hallway felt smaller. A woman in a tailored suit stood calmly, flanked by two men who said nothing. Her voice was measured, professional, but the weight of the moment crushed Justin's lungs. They were asking for him. Every eye in the building followed as Justin stepped forward. He could feel the judgment before anyone spoke it. A poor black boy, men in suits. The story had already been written in their minds. Inside the apartment, the truth landed like a shockwave. The woman explained who she was, who William Reynolds really was, not just a sick old man in the rain, but a billionaire, a man with power, influence, and resources most people could never imagine. The same man Justin had walked home when no one else stopped. Loretta sat down hard, gripping the edge of the table. Justin couldn't move. They handed him an envelope, thick, official, his name printed neatly across the front. Inside was money, enough to cover rent, medicine, months of survival. No conditions, no cameras, no repayment required. Justin's hands shook. This was the moment everything could change or break. Later that morning, Justin was taken to meet William Reynolds. Not in a mansion, but at a construction site. Blueprints lining the walls, models of bridges and buildings laid out like futures waiting to be chosen. William looked older than Justin remembered, frailer, honest in a way money couldn't disguise. He told Justin the truth about his heart, about the diagnosis, about the son he lost years ago, another boy who believed in helping people, in building things that connected instead of divided. William admitted that night in the storm wasn't just an accident. He had been walking toward the end, tired of fighting, tired of living. Justin had changed that. Not with money, not with words, with presence. William didn't offer charity. He offered responsibility, opportunity, a future built on trust instead of pity, a scholarship, education, a chance not just to escape, but to build something that would outlast both of them. Justin listened in silence, the weight of it all pressing down on him. He thought about the looks from the night before, the suspicion, the fear, how easily kindness could have been twisted into a headline, a charge, a tragedy. This wasn't just about him anymore. It was about what happens when a system expects the worst from someone, and how rare it is when the truth proves it wrong. Justin picked up the pen. His signature was shaky, uneven. But once it touched the paper, the room felt different, lighter. Like history had paused just long enough to let a 14-year-old black boy rewrite the ending. What came next wouldn't just change his life. It would challenge everything people thought they knew about who deserves to be seen and who never was. Justin Carter went back to his routine, but nothing felt the same. The same cracked sidewalks, the same bus stop, the same apartment stairs. Yet something had shifted beneath it all, like a quiet crack in a system that was never meant to bend for kids like him. The help William Reynolds offered didn't erase the fear Justin felt when those men in suits showed up. It didn't erase the looks from neighbors who assumed the worst before knowing the truth. It didn't erase the reality that on another night, that same walk through the storm could have ended with flashing lights, accusations, or a headline that never mentioned kindness. But it did something else. It proved that Justin had been right to believe his choices mattered, even in a world that rarely rewarded black boys for doing the right thing. His grandmother no longer had to choose between medicine and rent. Justin no longer had to think about dropping out just to survive. For the first time, the future wasn't something to fear. Yet the most powerful change wasn't financial. It was visibility. People who had never noticed Justin before now spoke his name. Teachers listened. Neighbors asked questions. Some celebrated him. Others doubted him. A few whispered that he was lucky, ignoring the part where he risked everything in a storm while everyone else walked past. That reaction said more about society than it ever did about Justin. This wasn't just a story about generosity. It was about how race shapes perception, how a black child helping someone can be seen as a threat instead of a gift. It was about how easily kindness can be criminalized and how rarely it's protected. Justin didn't change the system overnight, but he cracked it just enough to let light in. And maybe that's the real impact, not the money, not the connections, but the reminder that dignity, character, and humanity don't belong to one race, one zip code, or one social class. The question isn't what happened to Justin Carter. The real question is this: how many kids like him make the right choice every day and never get seen at all? If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Black Community Struggles for more powerful stories about justice, truth, and our community's fight to be seen. And don't forget to hit the like button. Your support helps these stories reach the people who need them most.